Hello everybody, I'm Errol Porter and welcome to TV 20 and Make It in Cleveland. Of course, today's show is brought to you by the good people of the City of Cleveland's Economic Development Department. And once again, we get to showcase some of our business leaders who have been aided by the Economic Development Department. And right now we have right here, Miss Brenda Glass with the Brenda Glass Multipurpose Trauma Center. I'm so glad you're here today. How's it going?
It's going great. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm looking forward to this interview.
All right, now tell us real quick, let's jump into it. Tell us all about the Brenda Glass Multipurpose Trauma Center.
So the Trauma Center is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to help all underserved individuals, or those who are not served at all, who experience violent crimes in the city of Cleveland and predominantly in the inner city of Cleveland.
Right, and that's probably, hate to say, you probably service quite a amount of people. And how does that affect you when you're doing that?
It doesn't.
It doesn't affect you at all?
No.
Now, how did you get moved to
do this
provide for the service? Yes.
So I was a victim of violent crimes most of my young life.
Right.
I've experienced everything from sexual violence to gun violence. And, I have many people in my family who have been lost to gun violence. Right. So it was like a no-brainer, like nobody was doing what was actually needed to be done. So it was like, why not me?
Right. And when you talk about what needed to be done, what did you feel needed to be done?
So mental health is great, but mental health doesn't cover spiritual health. Right. And so when a person has been victimized, their spirit has been tampered with as well as their body. Mm-hmm. And so we rarely looked at what was going on in a person's spirit. We looked at the mind, we looked at the physical, but never the spiritual. Also, people need practical things when they experience violence. And so we piecemeal those services. Trauma Recovery Centers is a one-stop shop. The ideal is that you provide all the services needed to that person under one roof, as many as possible anyway. And then being a victim of violent crimes yourself, you don't leave it up to the victim to determine what they need and what's available to them. Mm-hmm. You know what they need.
Now, me coming in, let's say I'm a victim of crime, then what will I receive? What kind of services will be provided for me when I come to see you?
So the first thing we determine is safety. So if the individual is in danger of losing their lives in their present home or wherever they came from, they're in jeopardy if they return to that location, we have our own safe shelter. Okay. And so currently we are up to 13 shelter units now that we use to house the individuals and families. They also receive psychotherapy, which we know is definitely something that people experience when they experience violence. They have trauma. And so our ideal is to wrap that kind of non-traditional trauma services around victims. They also receive assertive case management because they need to rebuild their lives. So they need someone to help to walk them through the process, not give them a piece of paper and send them on their way, but to walk with them through that journey. And then they need support. Like, you're leaving from your environment, going into safe shelter. You need someone that you can talk to, someone that you feel comfortable with who may understand your experience. So we have peer advocates also that work with those individuals. We provide our own transportation to and from whatever appointments those individuals have. And we also have relocation assistance because they got to go somewhere after they leave us.
All right. Now, relocation assistance, when they're relocated and after they go through your treatments, are you still in touch with these individuals?
Matter of fact, I just got a text message this morning from a young lady, which that kind of really made my day. Mm-hmm. She said, 3 years strong. Wow. She said, I'm still doing swell. Thank you for saving my life.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now tell us, take us back to when you were younger. Now let's get to know Brenda Glass, right? Let's get to know you. Where'd you go to high school at? Where'd you grow up at?
Okay, so I went to East Tech High School. Okay. We had Freddie Beamer and, all those people that was the great sports people. Right. But, so we kind of had a little name for ourselves because of them. But I was kind of always in the shadows. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't do a lot of participation in, after school activities. I think maybe a little grown before my age, okay. You know what I mean? I think I was, it was 11 of us.
So you didn't have time to play with those kids, huh?
Didn't have time to play, right? We had a lot of work. Like, my mom was raising us by herself, right? And so, we all had a lot of chores and a lot of responsibilities. But I think I was always a daring person.
It was a big family. How many brothers and sisters?
So I have 10 brothers and sisters. There's 7 boys and 4 girls in our family.
Right.
Yeah. And so we just kind of, we're very close. And so, but I think I was more daring than the rest of our family. So I was always out for the challenge.
Right.
You know, I always want to change things in the world, you know. So that's what I'm doing today.
Now, did you, what did you get your training from after high school?
Oh,
What did you do
so
after that?
I graduated from Tri-C.
Okay.
Went there when I was asked to work with a group of young people in the church. This is like 2003. And I really didn't know what I was doing. You know, I was working in laboratories. I didn't know anything about people, right? So I had to go to school to start figuring that one out.
Right.
So I graduated from Tri-C. Then I went on to Ursuline, and I got my bachelor's degree from Ursuline, and where I got my LSW, my license in social work. And then I left there, and I went to Case Western Reserve University, Mandel School of Applied Social Science, where I got my master's 1 year later from my bachelor's in majoring in mental health adult.
Wow, wow. And then you jumped right in the field. Now, did you go to work for someone? And what did you do?
Yeah, so I was doing an internship at Circle Health Services. So when I graduated, they hired me on, I was the first student they had ever hired.
Wow.
They hired me on, and I was doing medical case management and mental health adult. And then I worked there until 2020, as a matter of fact. And then that's when, you know, went solo, and been doing it ever since.
Got your calling. All right, now tell us, when you got that calling, you know, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of money from IU. Now tell us about the ARPA funding you received from the City of Cleveland's Economic Development Department. How did that help you?
Oh, that's helping a great deal. Because the thing is, we have those, you know, shelter units in our practice location, and we struggled initially because, you know, we didn't have funding, but the need was so great in Cleveland. And I thank the city for recognizing and wanting to help us. And so the money is helping us to upgrade and renovate safe shelter units and our practice locations, so that, you know, we give people a comfortable place to be. And not only comfortable, but, you know, it kind of ignites something inside of you when you live better than you lived before. You want something more out of life. And so that funds that they're giving us is going to be able to provide us with that atmosphere for those victims. And people love it.
Right, now these homes, does your company own these homes, or do you rent rooms from other sources? How does that work?
So the houses that we have are owned by different landlords. Right now we're owned by 3 different landlords. And so they provided those shelter units without me having an opportunity to pay.
Wow.
You know, we started out paying, and then, you know, we didn't have funding to pay. And the city recognized that these people had hung in there with us for like a year, you know, without me being able to pay them, and constantly let us use their spaces, and they paid the utilities and everything on those units. We only put 1 family in 1 unit. And we'll put 2 individuals in a home. But our goal is to keep dignity and respect in a person's life, because a victim doesn't have to feel like they are less than anyone else in society.
Right.
And if they ever felt that they were less than, now is a chance to show them that they're greater than.
Wow. Now this is, I'm sure, dealing with victims and a lot of emotions involved, and you have to balance those emotions between them and your family. Tell us about family life and how you balance all this out.
That's interesting.
Right.
Very interesting. So rarely do my family get a chance to see me during the week, but we have Sunday dinner every Sunday
Are you
without
married?
fail. Yes, I am.
Okay.
And I have a wonderful husband who puts up with me, so you know,
right.
we had a shout out there, right? But on Sunday we have Sunday dinner after church.
Cool.
And so, you know, people, all the family, church member and friends come over, and we do have, like, once a year we take a vacation. So my husband and I don't celebrate days like most couples do. We take 1 trip together during the year to cover all days.
Cover everything.
Yeah. Cover everything.
So every holiday is packed into there one week.
Into one.
That's what I'm talking about. That's pretty cool. Now you talk about church. What church do you attend now?
Allen Chapel Missionary Baptist Church.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Now how long have you been married?
So we were married in the 20s. That's 24 years this year.
24 years. Okay.
Yeah.
That's still
September.
You found your wife. Okay.
Yeah, you got to. That's
All right.
the greatest thing.
Cool. That's pretty cool. Any kids?
Yeah, I have 3 sons. One is deceased, though. He's about 23 years old. I lost my son. My 2 sons I have now are 10 years apart.
Right.
One of them actually created the safe shelter for us. He bought the first house.
Cool.
Way back in 2016. And so he got other landlords to buy in. So it was like, you know, you got to have somebody to pilot this thing, right? Because it's not being done anywhere, right? And so he bought the first house to show other landlords that it was safe. you know, and that it was something that was needed. And so right now, like I said, we have 3 people that's involved.
All right. Now let's talk about some of the challenges that you face as a business leader and running this business. So go over some of those challenges that you had to overcome.
Oh my gosh, funding was the greatest challenge. So initially I had to draw down funds for my retirement, you know, and my savings to, you know, get this business started and to maintain it, you know, until we were able to get funding. That's the most difficult part, I think, is finding people to buy into new ideas. Right. You know, and so that's been a challenge. Finding people, staff that's willing to do the work like you would do the work is another struggle, because I mean, my heart and soul is in this. And so I'm looking for people that can put their heart and souls into it as well. And so that's a challenge, because we work with dangerous situations, right? So if somebody else is in danger of losing their life and you're with them, that puts your life in danger as well. But it has to be done.
All right. Now, what's the future hold for the Trauma Center? What do you expect your end goal to be? And are they using your program or your model in any other areas? Have you shared that with other people?
Oh, yeah. So I'm on the steering committee for the National Alliance of Trauma Recovery Centers.
Okay.
It's 52 trauma recovery centers in 12 states. And so our goal is to be in every state. Right now, I'm the only trauma recovery centers have our own safe shelter, but it's my desire, my mission, my vision is to make sure that all trauma centers are able to erect their own safe shelter units. Because then you don't have to rely on someone else's model or their policies and procedures, right? You want to be able to, you know, give people what they need when they need it.
And so someone else out there wanted to open a business like yours. What would you say to them? Give some advice to our viewers out here.
I would say count the costs first, right? Because a lot of people want to do, to have a business, but they not looking at the sacrifices that you make to have your own business. So I would say make sure you're doing something that you really want to do. Make sure this is like a passion or a drive for you to do it, because it requires a lot of time, a lot of resources, a lot of creativity, you know, and it definitely requires to step outside of yourself.
Right.
So it can't be about me. It has to be about whatever you are planning on, the service you're offering to someone or whatever.
Hey, you said a mouthful, and I hope you guys heard that. And thank you so much for the work that you provide and continue to keep helping people. Tell us how to get in touch with you, Brenda, before we leave.
So you can call me at 440-836-2576, or you can email me at bglass@brendaglasstraumacenter.org.
All right, you got it. If you need some help, contact B Glass. You got it? The Brenda Glass Multipurpose Trauma Center. Thank you once again. And thank you out there for viewing here today. My name is Errol Porter. This is TV 20. And once again, you too can make it in Cleveland.